站出来支持他做一個好的市長。
Eric Adams 成為我哋嘅下一屆嘅市長，因為點解我哋 support 佢咧？出嘅底部做到福田區嘅區長係一個了不起嘅人，而且佢仲係好中意我哋嘅華人，所以我一定要更加支持佢。
Supporting Eric Adams because we represent the diversity of the city. And we was there when Eric, before he was even a candidate, when he was just a regular cop on the street. So we stand with those people that stand with us. Eric Adams.
Our friends, our council member, Udonis, the council ranger, Andrea Adams. A lot of friends here today, the Asians, the Blacks, the Hispanics, coming together as a coalition. We're here for Eric Adams.
We're excited today. It's a very powerful event. So many endorsements from every community, ethnicity, and I'm here myself. I'm a humanitarian. I work with women for women empowerment, and I cannot tell you, Eric Adams for New York City Mayor, he is our grassroots United Nations candidate who's going to make the biggest difference we need. He's going to make sure that economic development is in his DNA to bring this city back. He's going to make sure that environmental justice is at the core of what he does. He's going to make sure that all of the businesses and schools and infrastructure, from the boardroom to the boardroom in every agency that comes up in this city, he is there to make sure that we are successful. That is why I'm here with my colleagues to endorse for the next mayor of New York City, Eric Adams. So I'm going to introduce my colleague, who we had a lot of talks about this, and we wanted to jump, but we're here now. My assembly member, Clyde Bernal.
Listen, it's really simple. This is a very important race. This is a very important time. We're sitting here in Jamaica, Queens. In this race for mayor, there's one person from Jamaica, Queens. You guys didn't know that Eric Adams has roots in Jamaica, Queens. As a matter of fact, his parents still live in Jamaica, Queens. Look, he has the heart and he has the mind to be the next mayor of New York City. That's why I'm here endorsing Eric Adams as the next mayor of New York City. Next we'll have council member Adrian Adams.
Related. Okay, good morning everybody. I am council member Adrian Adams and this is my brother Eric Adams. You know, I had a quest when I was looking for mayor. I looked for somebody that I knew could bring the city back from a pandemic, and I found him. I found Eric Adams.
city. The reason we endorse him is that because he is the best qualified candidate so far.
Absolutely.
He understands public safety.
That's right.
He understands economic recovery. He understands public health. Because he himself is a public health figure. Look at him.
Yes, sir.
Mental health. All those issues he understands. He's going to help us to solve all those problems. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here together to support and endorse Eric Adams to become our next mayor.
Dina Brooks Power.
Of the community, but the community. In support of someone who I've had the honor and pleasure of knowing for almost 2 decades, and that is Eric Adams, the next mayor for the city of New York. Coming out here, thank you, Eric Adams, for taking this step in such a time as this where we need strong leadership to get the city back on the road to recovery, especially right here in Southeast Queens and the Rockaway. So thank you.
Dennis Rodriguez.
I'm so proud to be here. This is about Queens. I'm here from Washington Heights. Then my brothers and sisters know, and the media know. This is the broader coalition that New York haven't ever seen in any race. I see the faces here, my brother from Bangladesh, from China, from the English-speaking Caribbean. As a Spanish-speaking Caribbean, we are together. We're going to do it. Ustedes van a escuchar de alguien que es más importante que yo, que es alguien puertorriqueño, afroamericano. David Miller nos une a todos. Hoy yo estoy aquí como alguien de la comunidad latina de Washington Heights a decirle sí se puede.
Sí se puede. Mother from another mother. Council member for this district, Councilmember Donique Miller.
The 3rd precinct, where he served. Also, where he has had experiences that many of us have had. And he internally took it upon himself to answer the charge of police reform when it wasn't popular, when he didn't have folks behind him, when in fact it was a personal danger to himself and his family and other members of color of the force. You know, there was a time in early December, I know Adonis and I and some others and Council Member Adams and the borough president reached out to us at the Black Latino Asian Caucus of the City Council, began to talk about equity around the distribution of vaccines. And we have done several press conferences just like that. And guess what? It didn't happen. It didn't happen until Eric Adams stood up. This coalition of folks stood up, and now they're talking about it. CNN, MSNBC, and in the White House. Equity in the vaccine distribution, and this is about equity. And this is simply one person who has done this work. We don't have to look for it. We have to go with what we know. And what we know is that what we know and who we know is Eric Adams. We know that he's qualified, we know that he's our next mayor, and that we're going to work hard to make sure that this happens. And so I am proud to stand with this coalition of individuals that are committed to an equitable and fair city in endorsing Eric Adams for the next mayor of New York City.
He is ready to do the job. He does not need validators. He doesn't need anyone to hold his hand. He's ready. Eric Adams for mayor. Eric Adams. Eric Adams. Eric Adams.
I am humbled by receiving the endorsements of a series of elected activists, people who I respect, from Councilman Adonis to Brother Denis, to my sister Assemblywoman Hyman, to Sabina, who's just an amazing rising star in politics. Brother Vanell, one of the smartest folks I know, a businessman and just an entrepreneur. And who can say more about my brother from another mother people? And don't let the last names fool you. But this sister is my sister. Councilwoman Adams went to Bayside with me. We know these streets. Yesterday, or day before yesterday, when the Floyd verdict came down, I didn't join protesters. I took my son and we drove out here to the 103rd precinct. And I pointed to the precinct and I said, Jordan, I know you know about Sean Bell shot here. But let me tell you your dad's story. Your dad was in the same building and he was assaulted repeatedly by police officers. And then we went to Wheeler Avenue. And I said, let me tell you about this building where Amadou Diallo was shot at 44 times. Then we drove to Brooklyn to the 70th precinct. And I said, let me tell you about Abner Louima being sodomized inside a precinct house. And then we went on and looked at the location where Zongo was killed and Baez was killed. And then we went to see where Eleanor Bumpus was shot by Sullivan. And I was in the police academy at the time. And we moved around the city. And he says, Dad, it seems as though there are landmarks of where black and brown people and immigrant people have been killed by police. So some are cheering the verdict because historically we only saw not guilty pleas. But the indictment that was handed down on the murderer of Floyd is an indictment on this entire city. I was betrayed in that precinct house. And the betrayal is still in place 42 years later. That's why I'm running for mayor. I'm running for mayor because of the betrayal of people. I'm running for mayor because 65% of black and brown children don't meet proficiency every year in the Department of Education. That's betrayal. If you don't educate, you will incarcerate. I'm running for mayor because when you do an analysis of the students who did not receive iPads and computer, they are black, brown, and immigrants. That's betrayal. I'm running for mayor because right here in South Jamaica, Queens, they don't have an H&H hospital. They have to go to Long Island to get the medical care they deserve. And in Rockaway, they denied and we're attempting to close the hospitals they have there. That's betrayal. I'm running for mayor because in the city we were stopping 1 million black and brown children and no one seemed to care that we were demonizing them and accusing them of all sorts of deeds, charging them with a heavy-handed approach to marijuana possession and killing their careers and their opportunities. That's betrayal. I'm running for mayor because when you look at homelessness and do an analysis of who's homeless, they're black, brown, and immigrant. Can't find affordable houses. Their parents are cleaning homes. We're watching buildings go up and our futures go down. That's betrayal. Black businesses did not receive the PPP that came from the federal government. These doors are closing because we're not getting the support that we deserve. We spend $22.5 billion in procurement, but we can't buy things from these businesses in this community. That's betrayal. I'm running for mayor because the city has betrayed us. Come on now. Yes. And I know the betrayal. The outer boroughs have been ignored. We have a Manhattan-centered mindset. We throw all the life rafts to help the central business district. And we tell those in the outer boroughs, fend for yourself. Look at the numbers of what happened when the COVID testing was taking place. These elected were fighting to get the testing in our community. Then we had to fight to get
the vaccinations in our community. We have to fight to get food in our community, support in our community. We have witnessed the betrayal year after year after year. The betrayal didn't start when I was on the floor of the 103rd precinct being assaulted. The betrayal started so long ago. So I don't want to hear people say, we want to have New York City be just happy again. To too many New Yorkers, the city was never happy. Ask the NYCHA residents that had lead paint inside their buildings. Ask the mothers who could not find jobs for their families and had to navigate food. It was not happy for them. We're going to cycle out of this COVID-19, but we're going to cycle out of it together. No more days where inequalities become the signature of New York City. We're going to have a mayor that has gone through a lot so he can help people who are going through a lot. And when you look at this crowd, it's symbolic of who we are. I just want to, little family, Winjay, come on up. These are the parents of the first Asian officer that was slain in the line of duty. And I was with their family when it happened, and I remember visiting them and talking to them and saying that one day I'm going to run for mayor, and your son won't be forgotten. He's going to be there with you, and I visit you often. And I want you to know, those guns that are taking the lives of our family members and loved ones, those guns that have proliferated our streets, just as you mourn, mothers are mourning all over this city. And in the spirit of your son, dedicating this campaign to you and the mothers all over this city who are going through this level of despair. We will be a safe city. We'll be a city for blacks, and Jews, and Asians, and Caribbeans, people from Bangladesh, people from Russian-speaking. We are one New York. We're one New York. And I tell you, nothing gave me more joy than when one article came out and said Eric Adams has the broadest base support than any candidate that's running. I know you, and most importantly, you know me. When others fled, I led. 35 uninterrupted years of commitment to the people of this city. I'm not a stranger to you. You know who I am, and I know what you need. You need leadership, and we're going to do that. And I'll be damned if we're going to miss this opportunity of turning our city around. I see a bright future for this city. Within 2 years, as mayor, I'm going to turn this city around. 2 years, you're going to see a new city. You're going to see the real hope and opportunity that we deserve. And so I see a bright and beautiful tomorrow for all New Yorkers, not just some New Yorkers. We will all recover. And so my plan for recovery is to invest in schools, invest in our health care, invest in job opportunities, invest in those young people who were betrayed in school so they can have skilled programs, so they can be employed and not be just incarcerated year after year. Born in Brownsville, raised in South Jamaica, whoever told you there was not a Queens candidate in this race, you need to call them a liar. So we demand more than respect. We demand and expect results. And so today I'm announcing my Heart of the City plan, a plan for outer borough revitalization. Outer borough revitalization. We'll support our small businesses and MWBEs in a real way by building out a real-time system to ensure that every agency is reaching their goals and not playing this game with us over and over again. We're going to make investments in crime prevention, not heavy-handed policing, but real programs that would prevent crime in the first place. Our children should not have to have negative encounters in their lives. We're going to connect commuters and communities through a rapid bus system, shared network of electric bikes and scooters, and a new transportation network. I take my hat off to you, Brother Danique Miller, the Freedom Ticket Program. Long Island Railroad, stop coming through our city and think that you are not going to be treated as one integrated transportation system. Good way. So we must meet this moment with a movement. It's a way. I was in that precinct, and now I'm on the threshold to become the mayor that will decide who's in that precinct. And I thank you enough. Forward towards victory. Forward towards victory for our city. Thank you very much.
Can we just ask you about whether there is a competition, in your opinion, for the African American vote, especially in Queens? And the reason why I ask that is you've heard that Congressman Leagues, Ray McGuire, they seem to think that there is. Your thoughts on that?
Well, and that's fine. We have ranked choice voting and utilize for those who think of another candidate that they want to go with. Listen, we're not trying to divide. We're not trying to point fingers. We are going to run our race. This is what I said from the beginning. I said it from the beginning. When there were a lot of candidates that were coming into the race, people were saying, well, Eric, we don't know. I said, we are focused. We've been focused. We raised the most money, $9.1 million. We have the largest base of volunteers. We are up in the top of the poll. They switch us around even when they undercount communities like these. So what we must do is what we've always done. Discipline. If they want to talk about splitting the black vote, if they want to talk about the fight for the black vote, let them do all of that. We are focused on doing what I've always done. Discipline, focus, dedicated, on the ground with the people. I don't know if you feel this energy, but I love these people. And these people love me. Of law, who is in my office making sure that everything we do is right. Why? Because I know people are always trying to get me.
Exactly.
So we know everything was right. All the advocates have said the same thing. They've all stated that Eric did not violate any rules. So if people want to be creative and regurgitate an article that has been written hundreds of times over, saying the same thing, Eric did nothing wrong. He gave resources to these nonprofits that needed help. I'm so proud of the amount of money we gave to these nonprofits, and so we're excited about that. Our last endorsee. Right on time.
Right to work, brother.
My senator.
One person epitomizes the change that we need in New York City. That person that I'm speaking about is Eric Adams. You said things were not right and you spoke up. You spoke for us then. You didn't have to wait for a George Floyd. You spoke out and stopped many of them. We understand that. We understand that a person who can go against all of that, hold on to some principles, is perhaps the person best suited to be the mayor of the city of New York. My name is James Sanders Jr. I represent the 10th Senatorial District, and I am glad to be here to say Eric Adams will be the next mayor.